warm good evening to everyone. So thank you for giving this opportunity to present about energy efficiency in heating and cooling system. Before getting into the presentation, I would like to take a minute to talk about aspiration energy. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next. So aspiration energy is an energy efficiency heating solution provider for industrial and commercial applications. Being established in 2009, we have deployed around 4.0 megawatt of heat pumps and 2.5 megawatt of solar thermal systems. So being one of the top major players of heat pump manufacturers in India, so we are the first company to deploy 90 degrees Celsius heat pump for industrial application. And also we also have one of the world's largest rooftop solar thermal system in Chennai. It's around 630 kilowatt capacity. Next slide. Okay. So these are our product line. Our core products are heat pumps and solar thermal system. Apart from this, we also do energy monitoring device to monitor the performance of the heat pump and chillers. So this will greatly help us in monitoring the health of the system and also suggest us like what should be the preventive maintenance to be taken care in this setup. And we are also currently working on the 3 projects. One is CO2 based heat pump where both heating and cooling can be utilized. So in this system, we can generate hot water up to 90 to 95 degrees Celsius and can also generate cold water at around 5 degrees Celsius simultaneously. In the second project, 120 degrees Celsius heat pump, which can generate hot water up to 120 degrees Celsius or steam of 2 bar. In the third project, we are working on heat pump dryer. In food processing industries, drying is very common application. So we are primarily focusing on food processing industries to generate, to manufacture heat pump dryers, which can generate hot air up to 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. Next. So before getting into the presentation, since a lot of companies are trying to adapt energy efficiency in their process applications, the heat pump is one of the best energy efficient solution available in the market. So the working principle of heat pump is similar to any air conditioner or chiller. It works on the principle of vapor compression cycle. Depending on the utilization point, the terminology of the system differs. If your utilization point is the evaporator, then it's called a chiller or an air conditioner. If it's your utilization point is a condenser, then it's called a heat pump. So the name itself suggests that it pumps heat from the lower energy to higher energy. So the working principle of heat pump, let's get into the working principle of heat pump. There are 4 main components in the heat pump system: compressor, condenser, evaporator, and expansion valve. So initially, low boiling refrigerant inside this evaporator takes heat from the ambient air or the waste heat from the industrial processes and gets boiled. This superheated vapor goes to the compressor where it's converted to high pressure and high temperature superheated vapor, which is then further fed into the condenser, where the refrigerant condenses to a subcooled liquid by giving off the heat to the process fluid going through the heat exchanger. So this subcooled liquid is then again fed into the expansion valve where it's depressurized to a mixer phase of gas and liquid. So this mixer phase of gas and liquid comes back to the evaporator. This cycle continues until the process temperature requirement is met. So generally, when we talk about efficiency, efficiency is defined as the output to the input. So to measure the performance of the heat pump, there is a special term called COP. COP is nothing but a coefficient of performance. The coefficient of performance of a heat pump is defined by the ratio of thermal energy generated by the heat pump to the input electrical energy supplied to the heat pump. Next slide. So here, the COP of the heat pump varies from 2 to 6 depending on the temperature requirement, refrigerant, and application nature. So what is that number means? Suppose if your COP is 4, for every 1 kilowatt of electrical input, the heat pump generates 4 kilowatt of thermal energy. When you look at industrial boiler or heater, for every 1 kilowatt of electrical input, the heater generates around 0.95 kilowatt of thermal output. An electrical boiler, the efficiency of the system is around 50 to 90%, depending on the fuel. Here, this graph shows that the cost to generate 1000 kcal of energy. Here you can see that diesel being expensive spends around 8 rupees to generate 1000 kcal of energy. while the heat pump spends around 4 to 5 rupees to generate 1000 kcal of energy. Next slide, please. So let's get into the application. So where can we deploy heat pumps? So here this list shows the number of different sectors and different process applications where the heat pump can be employed. So I would like to highlight few applications and few sectors. First, I would like to talk about automobile sector. One of the common application in automobile sector is the pre-treatment processes and component washing machines. In pre-treatment process, it consists of a series of process tanks with acidic and alkaline solution, which needs to be maintained at a particular temperature. So generally, electrical heaters or boilers are used to maintain this temperature. So we can have a heat pump system that can generate hot water that will, this hot water can be recirculated to this process tanks, which through a heat exchanger, we can transfer the heat to the process tanks. So this is one application. We have done a lot of installations. Some of the installations we have done in TVS and Tata Motors and in Lucas TVS. And the second application in automobile sector is the component washing. So whenever the component is machined, it is covered with oil and greasy stuffs. To clean this component, generally automobile companies uses industrial washing machines with alkaline based solutions. So in industrial washing machines, this alkaline solution needs to be maintained at around 40 to 70 degrees Celsius. So generally electrical heaters are used to maintain this temperature. So instead of electrical heaters, we can have a heat pump system, so which can save up to around 50 to 60%, which can reduce their energy consumption by 50 to 60%. In the second sector, I would like to talk about the pharma company. So generally, the temperature and the humidity inside the pharma company is very important for their tablet formulation and medicine formulations. So generally, pharma companies uses lots of air handling units with the heating and cooling coil to maintain the to do dehumidification and humidification. So for humidification, they use boilers. For dehumidification, for humidification, they use chillers. For dehumidification, they use boilers. So instead of using chillers and boilers, we can have a centralized heat pump system that can supply chilled water to the cooling coil. Also, at the same time, supplying hot water of around 50 to 60 degrees Celsius to the heating coils. Another application in the pharma sector is the tablet drying. So generally, hot air from the hot air generator is used to dry the tablets. So instead of boilers, we can have a heat pump dryer to replace the system. And in the food processing industry, there are a lot of applications. Some of the applications include like pasteurization, sterilization, CIP, and drying. So in dairy industries, during pasteurization, the milk is heated from 4 degrees Celsius to 70 to 75 degrees Celsius. Then it's immediately cooled down to 4 degrees Celsius. So the centralized boiler is used to heat the system, and also chiller is used to cool the system. So here we can have a CO2 based heat pump system, so which supplies both the heating and cooling for milk industries. And in CIP, generally it's used to clean the process vessels. The typical temperature requirement ranges from 50 to 90 degrees Celsius. So we can have a heat pump system which can generate hot water in the range of 50 to 90 degrees Celsius. And food drying is one of the very common process. Like we use solar drying, we use a boiler or heaters to generate hot air, which can further used for a drying process. So instead of this conventional heating system, we can have a heat pump system which works on very low energy. We can have this heat pump dryer setup system. So the rest of the system presentation will be continued by Mr. Sandeep. Over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Naveen, for the wonderful introduction, and good evening, everyone. Now I would like to narrate a success story of Aspiration Energy in a three-wheeler manufacturing plant. Actually, it is in a paint shop where they wanted 55 to 70 degrees Celsius to be maintained in a treatment tanks, and for that 85 degrees of hot water has to be supplied, and they were using LPG as the source for getting 85 degrees Celsius and 650 kg per day of LPG. And on the parallelly on the electrode deposition plant, because of the temperature was going from 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, and they wanted to chill it and get back the water at 25 degrees Celsius. So for that they were using chiller, which was consuming around 100 units of electricity. So when we did the energy audit here, we got a perfect blend for here for the heat pump, where the heating load and the cooling load matched exactly. So it was a perfect saving for them here in this case. So a single heat pump could replace the LPG boiler, which was consuming 650 kg per day, and also the chiller, which was consuming 700 units of electricity per day. Next slide, please. So they had a great benefits because of this. So we can see that the total saving per year was around 71 lakhs, and the payback period was less than it was around 13 months. So here also one thing I would like to highlight, the carbon emission also 283 tons of metric tons of carbon was saved, was eliminated, and it is close to around 60 cars used per year. Okay, so another important thing what I would like to highlight in this is the integration process plays an important role in the efficient working of heat pumps. So actually in the first set, they were not able to reduce the whole 650 kg of LPG, but they were able to reduce only 600. But after the setting their process parameters also, an integration was done, and they were able to completely eliminate the usage of LPG boiler. So the integration also plays an important role in the efficient working of the heat pumps. Next slide, please. So here you can observe here, so the payback period was just 13 months, and they are getting their benefits now. So next slide. So for this, the typical installation cost per kilowatt will range from 10,000 to 33,000 per kilowatt, and it depends on the integration, the complexity in the integration. So for this project, it was around 30,000 per kilowatt. Next slide. So we have got a huge demand for heat pumps, and this is the global industrial demand, and it has been segregated based on the temperature, application temperatures. So here we see that in India, actually we are actually Aspiration Energy is the industry which is giving around 90 to 95 degrees Celsius in this range, and nearly 40 to 50% of the global industrial heat can be served using heat pumps. And if we will go beyond 100 degrees Celsius, and which is currently just 20% is being placed. So if we have gone to next, our research is going on to go beyond 100 degrees Celsius. And now I'd like to tell about our research which is going on for this. Next slide, please. So these are the ongoing innovations. So first innovation which is going on is the 120-degree steam generator. So we will be able to supply steam or hot water at 120 degrees Celsius. If you want steam, then we'll be having, we can give it 2 to 3 bar, and at a flow rate of 100 kg per hour. So this one is partly funded by Facility for Low Carbon Deployment, Technology Deployment, and UNIDO and CII. So this one we got it in 2019, since we won the FLCTD Innovation Award. So we have finished with the procurement, and now assembly is going on. So this product is likely to be launched in March end, and field testing will be done at a site. So next slide. So the next innovation that is going on is on the CO2 heat pump, and CO2 is a natural refrigerant. Hence, it is the best eco-friendly refrigerant that can be there. The only problem with the CO2 heat pumps are the pressure, high pressures. How we have to maintain the high pressures, they have to deal with the high pressures. So the complexity in building the machines exists, and the cost of the compressor also is more. But the payback period will be less, since the COP will be around 6.5. So this one we are building it for a kitchen application, and the beauty of this product is that in a single pass we can give from 24 degrees Celsius to 90 degrees Celsius. It's a single pass, we can heat it, and on the hot side the heating capacity is 141 kilowatt, and on the parallel on the cold side from 12 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius we can get the cold side, and the cooling capacity is 102 kilowatt. This one we are doing it in collaboration with NTNU Norway and Sintef Norway. This is for a kitchen application. So this is the best eco-friendly refrigerant with a high COP that is possible, and this will be the first CO2 implications in India. So next slide. So on the next, we are also parallelly working on the refrigerant selections. That is, presently we will tell that we are also using the eco-friendly refrigerant, but we are only deciding it based on the GWP. If we are using the low GWP refrigerant, we cannot simply say that it is eco-friendly, because when we are using a low GWP refrigerant in place of a refrigerant which is conventionally used like R134A or R407C, the problem exists is the performance slightly reduces. So when the performance slightly reduces, the electricity consumed by the compressor increases. So as a result, if we are deploying a heat pump in the region where while during the production of electricity, the CO2 that is being emitted is more, that is, if they are not depending on the renewable sources for generating their electricity, then it is of no use. Actually, it will be dumping more CO2 into the environment. So currently in India from 2012, the emission factor that is 0.83 kg of CO2 emitted for producing 1 kilowatt hour of electricity. So in those cases, we cannot simply tell that because I'm using a low GWP refrigerant, so I am eco-friendly. Actually, it will because if we will see the electricity produced emission factors, then it will actually dump more CO2 into the environment. So we have to go for a total equivalent warming impact type of analysis, or we have to go for a analysis called life cycle climate performance. So in total equivalent warming impact, we will be seeing the direct emissions because of the refrigerants, because of the direct leakage, or plus also the indirect emissions which is caused by when producing electricity in the area of deployment of the heat pump. So this is TEWA analysis, and LCCP analysis also considers, along with the direct emission and indirect emission, it also considers the CO2 that is emitted while manufacturing the other components of the heat pump. So this type of holistic approach is required to say that yes, I am using an eco-friendly approach. So this is the AEPL's chasm. So we have done quite a number of products in the automotive sector, and now slowly we are moving to the chemical industry and as well as for the pharma industries. So we are trying to expand in multiple sectors to save energy and give energy efficient solutions. Thank you. Next slide.